Okay, so here we are. This is my review of the Transylvania 100, the 2024 edition, where I did the 80K. Okay, here we go. So it's cold in the morning. That's the first thing I really want to let you know. And you will start with the 80K and 100K combined, so it's kind of busy. So my first tip for the race is that you don't need a head torch in the beginning. You start at 5 a.m. so by the time that the sun comes up you are already out of the city and you will not need any kind of head torch. And as soon as you leave the village of Bran you will start climbing pretty much immediately, and as soon as you hit the forest that's when more and more climbs start to come your way. Now on this 80K there were 72 runners in total and there were 4 DNFs, so it was a good field. So here we're climbing up the forest. You start pretty much immediately with a climb, as I said. You start at 756 meters and you will start to go up to close to 2,200 meters, so that's about 1,440 in vertical gain. And as you can see here, our heels are pretty much never touching the ground. So here you are stuck in this train. Now there's no point to rush at this start. All you have to do is just stick it through. There's no point to try to overtake people. You would have to do that at a later stage. Only if you are really a front runner would I recommend that you strategically choose your place in the very beginning and get out of the gate straight away. Yeah, here we reach the top. As you can see, it's really cold. The moment you get out of the forest, it's super icy, and we hit the first snow plaque, and then finally we get a bit of downhill. It was really good to have this downhill because after that long climb it was really necessary. Yeah, so here we are in Meliest, and Meliest is the third aid station. So here I came in after 2 hours and 38 minutes. It was tough, and to be honest, it doesn't stop there. You have to keep climbing up the chimney. Now this seems pretty flat, but trust me, it really isn't. That's why we are walking. And back there in the distance, you can't really see it, but that's where the chimney will come our way. And this is where I really want to remind everyone that this is a front-loaded course. So basically you do a lot of the climbing in the beginning. And I'm not the best climber out there, so I was having a bit of trouble getting through this section. It is steep. It doesn't look like much at this point, but it will get even steeper once you hit the chimney and the snow. There we go, we hit the snow, and I definitely recommend everyone to get crampons to put on because it is slippery. You do not want to slide down and have to climb it up again. And here you can see how extremely steep it really is. I mean, it is almost a vertical climb up that chimney. But would you look at that? Isn't that just amazing? It was cold here. It was really cold. The wind was blowing. You are not protected by any kind of forests, and the climbing of course continues. Here we are climbing up towards Omu, still walking. and I had some trouble here. This was a tough section. It was not easy to get through it. Because it was all front loaded, I knew I had to reset my brain, not think too much of it, and keep going and start to move a bit faster in the second, the last 2/3 of this race. But guess what? You keep climbing and climbing and climbing and climbing until finally at some point here you will start to make a good descent. Here we go. Right, so here you are really on top of the Carpathian Mountains. The views are absolutely stunning, and we are going downhill at a pretty fast pace, but as you can see, it's still technical. It's still uneven ground, so you really have to be careful where to put the foot and where to land at every single step, because it's pretty easy to roll an ankle on this terrain. Right, so this is this famous bridge. Now, I would recommend to just run through the water, and you will see shortly why, because although this bridge is pretty well attached to the rocks, the moment you get on it, it's really unstable. Just listen.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, so you're swinging left and right, it's not comfortable, and then there's these hooks, which are also pretty sharp, so it's not great. I would really recommend to just go straight through the river. And then finally some downhill. Yeah, so here I got another tip for you. So you can see this runner having poles in his hand. I would really recommend to get retractable ones, because it's so much easier to have your hands freely when you go downhill in these mountains. We're coming into Pestera here, and the aid stations are really well equipped. Staff is really nice. So I came in 27th here, pretty good time, and then immediately you get into a climb once again. This is the one that goes up to Babele, and as you can see here, it's all extremely rocky. Some of these rocks are loose, so it's not easy to get up there, and you have to find your own line. It's really tough climbing, and here you could tell that a lot of runners were already struggling, because this is now the third climb basically that you are going into, and it is really unrelenting. So Pestera lies at 1617, and you will start to climb upwards towards 2200. And once you see this red house, you know that you are close to the top. Congratulations. But then of course you have the weather, which is not easy to judge in the mountains. And here we have some snow, some icy rain, and some hail. The ones that were in the 20 and 30k were right in the middle of it, and that weather was pretty brutal on them. And now we're finally descending again, which is really great for the quads and to just release a bit of that tension. For me, this was a part of the race where thunderstorms start to roll in. There was rain. It wasn't the best of paths either to follow. It's still technical, doesn't look like much, but you can very easily roll an ankle here as well. So by now you have done 3 peaks, and you have done most of the elevation work. You basically, not counting the little uphills that you did in between, you did about 2,500 meters in vertical gain. Okay, so this is the section where I'm making my way down to Bolboch Lake. In the distance you can see there the thunderstorms rolling in. So the weather is super unpredictable. Be prepared for anything. Yeah, here I'm coming in to Bolboch at 13 hours and 30 minutes, which is a good time. It's exactly what I wanted to do. I made up some positions in the race, but this is still hard work, especially on your ankles. Yeah, this is really hard work, especially on your ankles. These trails are not well walked.
Fuck.
Yeah, that hurt. Okay, so here I'm at Chauastunga, so now I'm actually moving up pretty well. I'm in 21st position, and here there's this super view of this valley, which you will be dropping into. I mean, it is just stunning. To be honest, this trail was one of the most magnificent ones that I ever done. It's really impressive, beautiful, majestic, and the rock formations are just unbelievable to see. Then there's some forest work. So these are actually the first flats that you will encounter. There's not many of them, and you might get surprised by all of a sudden having again these walks up. Oh yeah, by the way, what I really liked is this bib that they made. So this is the number that will be hanging on you, and this is basically where you can also see the elevation and the course that you are going through. So you just have to flip this up to see wherever you were and where you were going and what kind of climbs would come next. This to me was really helpful. Now, unfortunately for the next part of the race, I put my GoPro in my pocket and it turned on by itself. So unfortunately, I cannot show you much more footage than this. What is great, however, is that this race was really well documented. There were photographers everywhere, and there are literally thousands and thousands of pictures littered across Facebook. So you will see yourself running, and you will get great footage out of that as well. So the next checkpoint that I came in at the 16th position. So that's really where the race was changing for me, because I could tell that certain runners were really becoming fatigued, and that's where I felt that I could still go on, and especially on the climbs coming out of Moechu, which don't seem like much on the elevation gain map, but to be honest, this is really tough terrain and it's difficult to get up there. So I came into Gotano at 18 hours and 46 minutes, which meant that I was probably going to be able to come into the finish before the sun went completely down, which is actually what I expected and really wanted to do. And eventually you make your way back to Bran, which tells you that you are almost at the finish. Now there's one more thing that I really want to share with you. This is the Carpathian Mountains, which is extremely wild. So there are bears and also wolves. Now some of you might be thinking, well, what are the chances of me encountering a bear? Well, my wife was crewing me and driving from one aid station to the next, well, at least the ones that she could reach. And on her way, she encountered a bear sitting on the side of the road. So there are bears out there. I had a runner at some point in front of me who was whistling all the time in order to let the bears know that you are there. For me, to be honest, it is a thought that was in my brain, but I could not let it stick to my conscience too much, because it would just mean that you will get scared and maybe think of other things than running your race. But be assured, there are actually bears out there. So this is at the bottom of the castle. Here I'm finally coming into the finish. I ended up doing a pretty good race. I came in at the 16th position. I did it within 15 hours and 46 minutes, which was about what I expected. And so I'm really pleased with this race. And to be honest, this is a race that I would really recommend any trail runner out there. It's tough, it's difficult, but it's absolutely doable and wonderful to behold. So the Transylvania 100 is a beautiful race to participate in. It's difficult, it's tough, you need a lot of training and make sure to do some severe hill repeats to prepare for this race, because the hills, the steep hills especially, are relentless and you will need good quads and strength in your lower legs to get up. What I really loved about this race is, first of all, that they give you cool gear. You get this nice medal, but what really struck me the most is how incredibly helpful they were at aid stations. The moment you get in, there will be someone who asks you if you need anything. They will even fill up your bottles for you if you ask them to. Actually, you don't need to ask them to, they will do it regardless. They ask you what you want and they will give it to you. The food at the aid station is also very varied, so you can have anything from pretzels to bananas to oranges, but also pizza, which was really great towards the end of the race at Moyechu, where that 2 slices of pizza really helped me to regain some strength. Make sure that you have all the proper gear with you on the trail. The moment you get caught in weather, you will be very happy to have it. And by the way, the race organizers are very eminent to check backpacks to make sure that racers actually have them. They don't check all the backpacks at the beginning, but they will check them during the race. So if you get caught with one item missing, you might actually get a time penalty, which is something that I don't want you to do. Just make sure that you have your gear and test your gear on your training runs. In that sense, you can see what kind of gear is big, lumpy and clunky and should be reduced to the minimum weight for you to be faster on the trail. One last piece of advice. If you want to see this race by another runner who gets you through the entire course, I strongly suggest that you watch Cosmin Popa's video. He ran the 80K and he can give you a way better view on where the aid stations are, and you can then just link it together with your race map. So the next race I'll be running will be the UTML, which is the Mulletal trail run here in Luxembourg, which will be the 70K that I'll be doing. There's also a 100K and I think there's a 30K as well. It will be not as difficult as the Transylvania 100, but it's a fast race and the scenery is again stunning. So maybe we'll see each other on race day in Luxembourg. Until then, happy running. See you in the next video.